cannot afford to miss a single moment of the next hour. Get ready to have your ideas about sexuality, love, and relationships blown wide open. It's time to get educated, entertained, and enlightened, as well as sexually empowered. You have now tuned into the Tantra Love, Sex, and Intimacy Show. Now, here's your host, Tanya Diamond.
I've got to say that the stuff that happens here before the show starts, and the stuff that happens on the break, and then the stuff that happens after the show, and
just getting warmed up.
I know.
That's okay.
What were we going to be talking about today? Pop music and condoms. What?
Pop culture, condoms, condom review.
Culture.
Condom review. I went on a field trip.
So let's say hi to Max. Max is with us today in the studio.
Hello.
Max and Joshua here, and Billy. We're all here.
And, of course,
me.
Tanya Diamond.
Yeah, I'm not just channeling me. I actually am me.
Everybody's in.
All right, so we're here. And Joshua, what did you want to talk about?
I went on a condom field trip.
Oh, wow.
Sorry about that in your ears, people. A condom field trip. I can just okay, everybody, let's get on the bus now. Now remember to leave your condoms in the basket on your way in. What's a condom field trip?
A condom field trip is going to one of our local adult toy stores and approaching confidently the condom section.
Right.
And they're great. I mean, this one particular store.
The condoms are great?
The condoms are great. The displays are great. They've got this wall of condoms. And behind me, they have these tables, like little buffet tables. And the buffet tables have little buckets, let's say you went to the bar and got a bucket of cervezas.
Right.
This is a bucket of condoms. So each bucket had a different set of condoms on them. You got to be careful. You bump into the ones that are hanging and they dangle sorry about your condoms.
So they actually have them open?
Open. Well, but wait, there's more.
There's more. Okay.
In the buckets are condoms in their packages. So if you just want to buy one, two, sample the different ones.
Okay.
And then little samplers of the different types of lube.
Right.
And then the table. This one table has a fan underneath it, or not a vacuum system, but an air pressure system, so that the different styles of condom that you just wish you could take a look at are actually on little housings, so they're gently erect. So, you go by some of the car dealerships lately, and they've got that
big balloon, the man
with the balloon and the arms flapping.
Wow.
These are not flapping.
Now, when you said a fan, I was thinking for a minute there, I'm like, wow.
Under the table so that it warms you up and you can try them on. No, that's not exactly what I'm... No. They actually had the different condoms.
Oh, my gosh.
Presenting. And
so you could saddle up next to it and put your member up against it and see if it was...
They didn't offer me the opportunity to try any on the shoe store or things like that. So I think
you got to see if they had the nubs or
the nubs,
the colors.
How does that bulb out at the top? Oh, that one bulbs out midway through and all the way to the top, cylindrical, kind of torpedo style. Mm-hmm. They had
bulges
the spiral
out at the side.
I'm still trying to figure out exactly, but they all taper at the end for security at the bottom,
right? And
some of them literally are like a barbell towards the end, like a balloon on the end of your vajra. Some of them are more like a cylindrical torpedo, so it's bigger. And the presumption on all these different shapes are that for the guy, it creates some slack in the condom so that they feel, that we feel more.
Right. Well, but there's circumcision and uncircumcision. See here, I could say that if you have the condom was actually had a little bit more give, probably is going to feel better.
Right.
If you're
circumcised, it lets you. If you're uncircumcised, it lets you have more movement.
Right.
And then you had the
more
famed,
room for the
famed spiral.
Spiral.
The famed spiral.
What?
It has this it looks like there's an expansion of...
Like a McDonald's ice cream cone?
Yes. But just the end. So it's just like 1.5 spirals. And I'm looking at it going, it's kind of like a conch shell wrapped around the end of the... How does that... I'm wondering how that really works, feels, and does it stay blown up?
Oh, no, you know what?
What?
No. It's because if she's... See, this is something that very rarely happens in sex.
Yeah.
But if it were to happen that her G-spot was actually protruding and aroused, that catches on it.
I imagine all these things create slack that do something like that.
Right, because normally without a condom, if you're super erect and she's super aroused, the head, the rim will catch when you're coming back out, right? You know this, right? On the G-spot. So if you're in a condom, that's not going to happen.
Right.
So if you put the little spiral there, that's going to catch.
It allows for texture.
There you go. That's why they pay me the big bucks.
And then I've seen toys before that had spiral going on there, and interesting similar.
Right. What I didn't get were all the little tickler thing, the things hanging off them. So you got this like chicken sprouted
Where
chicken
do you put
head
that
things.
stuff?
Well, I mean, where's it going to go? Right?
Chicken sprouted.
Well, then again,
It looks like that. Those chickens with the big hairdos?
Yeah.
Yeah, the cock combs,
No. The big, the Polish hens. They've got these beautiful, big, fluffy hairdos, plumage, like punk rockers.
Oh, yeah, I gotcha.
So they got those on the end of condoms.
So the punk rock
what are you going to do with that?
Well, well, then again, there's more space inside than just the Vajra. So
true. So that's supposed to fill up all the rest of the space?
Sort of tickle a little bit. I don't think it's like a all the way in and out thing. But it's sort of like once you're there, it's kind of like, hey, I think I feel somebody tickling my
but
nibble.
Most women don't have, well, let's just say, the nerve endings in the yoni are the first third.
Right.
So there's not that much sensitivity for most women. I mean, that's part of what Tantra teaches you how to do, is to become resensitized.
Right.
For anything other than more like pressure. So I don't know that,
Okay.
Maybe somebody wants to call in and tell me I'm wrong.
So the condom field trip, I did not get to see or talk about those. Now, mind you, of course, knowing me, was I quietly shy and, checking out the condoms? Right. Or was I like, hey, I've got a question.
Right. So who came over to help?
Sex store woman. She was,
Hey, sex store woman, can I?
Usually there's one or two
guys
working there.
Is that one of those Pimco commercials?
Yes.
Client number 56.
And,
sex store woman.
And today, that day there was a woman, a delightful woman working the desk, and she came over and was enthusiastic. She's like, oh, I love it. When somebody's shy about stuff, I'm like, no, ask us questions.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, this one, that one. Tell me how that works. She's showing me, oh, yeah, that one's like this over here. And by the way, if you buy two, you get one free.
Wow.
Ooh.
So, I wasn't buying the 12 boxes. I was, looking at 3 boxes and, boxes of 3. And I was like, oh, that and that. So I wanted to, part of the question that came up is the polyurethane condoms, the non-latex.
Right. So we've got, to break it down for people that maybe not super condom knowledgeable, what have we got? We've got latex.
We've got latex.
We've got polyurethane.
Polyurethane.
Do we have silicone? Are they making some of those?
I don't know about that.
And then they've got sheepskin.
And they got sheepskin. They've got another, like a polyethylene or, a variation.
Polyethylene?
I don't know.
That sounds
the main
scary.
question, I asked her, she's like, yeah, some people don't like the smell of the latex
I don't
or
like
they're
the
allergic.
smell of, I don't
and I'm
like
like,
the smell
oh, so they don't like rubber, so what's this smell like? Beach ball? Fresh shower
well, you know what?
curtain?
Quite frankly, fresh shower curtain. Well, that's nasty. Vinyl. I have to say, yeah, the smell of condoms is not
that pleasant.
Not
And the flavored condoms, unless they've upgraded, I don't think so. And I'm sensitive to food dyes and artificial sweeteners.
So you're saying that you're not really going for a flavored condom, Josh?
I know what you're thinking.
Well, it's obvious that you care about a woman's pleasure.
I care about a woman's pleasure.
Okay, come back around on that one.
When I was in college, I was a peer educator, and in a college with a 5-to-1 ratio of men to women, I was very fortunate to have a girlfriend and one that was attractive.
Awesome. Qualify that.
There were a lot of men that were not happy with me, and both of us being peer educators, we were the token couple on the peer education team. So we would go out and at the dormitories do this is how you put a condom on demonstrations and play the video. And, the rednecks were really interested.
So you gave one up for the team and tasted all the condoms.
So in that, she and I were they sent us home with the gross of condoms to sample. And the flavored condoms, like, hey, honey, what do you think about this? She's like, I don't know about that taste. I'm like, here, let me see that thing. Now, of course, I wasn't wearing it.
I was going to say, were you wearing it, or did she put it on
yet.
her hand, or what?
I wasn't wearing it yet. You just unroll it a
and
little
lick
bit
on it,
and put the end in your mouth. Like, that does not taste like gum.
That's not working.
That's like latex and spearmint. Not a good. I didn't like it, so I'm hoping with the fruit flavored condoms. I mean, if you look online, YouTube has some great commercials on flavored condom ads, and one of the tropical fruit flavored one. Neat ad. I'll let you go look for it.
Awesome.
But the flavored lubes and stuff have never really.
And the problem is the flavored lubes, can you put a flavored lube
on a flavor? What happens if you mix
yoni?
your flavors? What if you put lube, a flavored tropical, on a spearmint lube condom?
Oh.
Well, that doesn't sound like a good thing at all. So you'd have to like check with everybody first. I'm sorry, what flavor are you toting today? No, I can't use that lube today.
Right. And they say, to be very cautious about putting sugar near mucous membranes, yoni. Okay.
Yeah,
and to do that has an issue with yeast issues and
bladder
dysbiosis.
infections, yeast infections.
Yeah, so keep the sugar, the flavors away.
And keep the peels on the bananas.
Keep the peels on the bananas.
That's a personal story.
Yeah. And
wow.
I'm sorry. Everybody had a moment.
We had a moment. I did have a little bit of a debate with the clerk at the sex store.
Oh?
Polyethylene condoms. Now, there is a particular lubrication company at Team Tantra that we love.
When you say lubrication company, it really sounds more like automobile. There's a lube company. There's
a company that provides a personal lubrication that we love. Lubricant.
Yes.
Lubricant. A personal lubricant that we love.
We do.
And it's a combination of organic oils.
Shea butter.
And
some nice things.
Some nice other things.
Yes.
Now, there are certain oils that are okay for mucous membranes and certain oils that will clog mucous membranes.
Yes.
And so they could cause infection.
It's not good to use
dysbiosis.
Crisco. Don't use the Crisco.
No.
That's
and
just
not
nasty.
even in
That's
emergencies.
Just nasty.
No. And so I said, polyethylene, do you guys have polyurethane? Do you have any oil-based lubes? And she looked at me with this look of, how dare you? Don't ever use any lube for anything like that.
No oil, ever.
Up to this moment, I was like, the guy who asked all the questions must have a clue to, how dare you even think about putting oil near a yoni?
Oh, my God.
And she gave me the riot act. And I said, I understand that that's the training that you've been exposed to. And what I want to let you know is, go ahead and check out www. And I gave her the, website of that particular company, and look at their site. They do clearly say that you can't use this product with latex condoms because any oil will break down a latex condom.
Yep.
So hence the polyurethane condoms can be used with an oil-based lubricant.
Yep.
Now, can we clarify that oil-based, we're not talking about petroleum products.
Exactly. That's one of the key things.
Mineral oil will destroy everything right there.
No, very bad. We want to make sure. Okay, we're not talking about go grab a bottle of 1040 out of the garage.
No baby oil.
No baby
oil. No
Vaseline. We shouldn't be putting petroleum products on our bodies at all.
Well, yeah.
And definitely not in our bodies.
Definitely.
Right.
So.
And in fact, in my the new ebook that I'm working on right now, which is the Sexual Vitality and Penis Enlargement ebook, I actually talk about specific oils to use in the practice of that. And they, I've read on the net they're saying to men, use Vaseline, use this, use that. And that's just nasty.
On the internet they're saying that?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so you're going to get that information out there, and just don't do it.
Don't.
If you have to use a natural oil, use olive oil, but, on the outside, not in the inside.
On the outside, even olive oil oxidizes and goes rancid too easily. So jojoba, shea butter are among the safest oils, but please don't quote us. Ask a doctor.
The medical disclaimer.
Ask a clinic and make sure that what you're thinking of using internally is safe. Externally, there's a lot of vegetable oils, massage oils, massage lotions.
We just want y'all to be happy.
Very effective.
And the gerbils, keep the gerbils out, because that's just wrong.
Yeah, oils and gerbils, just not. Just no.
It mats their hair down.
It doesn't. It doesn't mix. It's
not pretty.
Not a good thing.
I don't even want to. So wait.
Okay, and so what? Okay, there's more.
There's more.
All right.
Okay, so she and I agreed to disagree on oils
on the lubes
for intimacy, and I couldn't decide what was I going to get as my third selection. There's so many choices there. I was overwhelmed. Well, I had a wall of condoms in front of me.
Right.
And she clarified that they don't carry any of the female condoms. I was curious and intrigued. She says, in her opinion, what she's heard. She couldn't really give an opinion. From what she's heard, they don't fit securely. They're kind of awkward. And even though they claim to have more coverage, she had heard concerns about if it's used perfectly, yes, it has better coverage. That was a questionable application.
Yeah.
So we had the extra large condoms. We had the extra small condoms. We had the water-based lubricant. We had the silicone-based lubricant, which can get pretty slick after use. We had the unlubricated. We had the colored, glow-in-the-dark flavored. What else?
Spirals.
We had the spirals.
Little nubbies.
We had the dolphin.
The dolphin?
The dolphin.
Is that like a condom with a thing on the outside that's hard?
No, it's a dolphin shape. There's that cylindrical shape.
Well, there are a lot of men with curves.
And they say that it's a shape for women. Now, I tried to get an answer out of her because in the ad, it looks like the shape itself was really, now without the fins. Think of a dolphin without fins.
Okay, so it's curved.
So it has a curve and it has a taper. Obviously, at the base, it goes out and comes back together.
On,
I know. I couldn't figure out how shape-wise that was really going to work. I mean, what do they buffer
like
it up
corset?
with some foam or something?
Is it a dolphin or a porpoise?
Do I need a bike pump for this thing?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if it's because the reservoir tip that most condoms have isn't straight in front. It's actually pointing down a little bit, so it looks like your dolphin's diving in. I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
So the final item of curiosity of all the things that can be put on a condom: warming lubricants, cooling lubricants, numbing lubricants. This was a condom with L-arginine mixed with the lubricant internally and externally. And I said, L-arginine? Isn't that a supplement? Isn't that for antioxidants or circulation? She says, yes, circulation. It increases circulation and blood flow and creates greater sensitivity. I said, well, that's not going to go over very well, is it?
Greater sensitivity.
Greater sensitivity.
I mean, how many, there are men out there that do feel that, in fact, you get the Viagra on board and all of a sudden it's like you can't really do a lot. It does decrease a lot of the sensitivity.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I need, Viagra and increased blood flow. Thank you.
So there are men out there that are looking to increase their sensitivity more and more. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, just like there are more books out there right now
talking about. Depends on what they're
about
increasing their sensitivity for.
Well, because they're pounding away for hours without being able to
exactly.
climax.
Well, that's because they've been pounding away,
right?
And they've desensitized themselves. Or how much time are they spending in the hand, their own hand, working the daylights out of that thing? You're going to create some numbness.
Well, it depends what kind of pressure you're using too.
Trust me, guys who are looking at porn, looking at magazines, or just spending too much time in the bathroom or in the sock, the pressure is what they're using. They're either gripping it or they're going too fast or going too often. And now I'm a strong proponent of self-pleasuring, okay? Masturbation is your friend. And
well, there's a difference between masturbation and self-pleasuring in the Tantra world.
I think they're both great. Just say base education, okay? And the reason why I would suggest guys consider holding back and doing less of it is to maintain sensitivity. Now they say, yeah, and then I'll pop off in 30 seconds once I'm with my lover.
No, they do. The problem with that is that most men do not touch themselves over the head of their vajra. They spend most of the time on the shaft. And then when they enter the yoni, which is, that's a done deal. So if you are super sensitive in that way, you need to spend more time actually handling the whole vajra, not just the part at the base, or the middle. Right. Now, Joshua, you're going to end the radio show by yourself today. So what I'm going to tell you right now is you should save some of this.
Because
your condom thing would have just, you could have had your whole condom field trip story all by. Josh is going to do the ending of the show today by himself. Woo-hoo! So I want lots of support. And if you're out there listening, you probably want to call him.
And if any beautiful people want to call me in, heckle me, tell me how sexy I am.
Any people. Don't be so shallow.
They're all beautiful people,
Okay, there we go.
They are all beautiful people.
All beautiful people.
No defensiveness needed. I want to talk to everybody because they're all.
And the number you would call would be 1-877-230-3062. That's 230-3062. And you should know that on Tanja Diamond, Tanja Diamond, I've got my Facebook open when I am on the radio. And so if you're, one of my close to 3,000 friends there, you can jump on there and do a chat, and I will get you part of the show. Yeah, people envy. I know. Isn't that cool? Look at that. All those super close friends of mine out there. Okay, we got a couple of questions that I've been asked recently.
Excellent.
So, and thank you for sharing your condom field trip with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Now we know more about condoms. I do have one condom story, though, I guess I have to share. I have more than one condom story, but the only one I'm going to share right now is what happens when, the man says, oh my God, where'd the condom go?
Oh.
I don't know if that's ever happened to you guys, but
that has happened to me.
It's kind of like, I'm saying, what? And he goes, the condom, it's not on. And I'm like, well, okay, so like, when did you realize that? Come on, isn't there a time when you're going along and all of a sudden it feels different than it did 2 strokes before? Come on, it's like, because I said, when did you lose it? And he goes, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Is it in the bed? And so we're looking around and, I'm feeling myself and I'm not feeling it. Okay, so where is it? And now I'm feeling a little bit deeper and it's like, I'm not feeling it. Where?
I'm going in, ma'am.
I know. So I can't.
We'll take care of this.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a moment to call in
needed the Yoni
rescue.
rescuers. Right, exactly. And, so I'm feeling around. I'm getting a little frantic. I'm like, where is it? And I'm like, okay, I said, you need to check it out.
I've got a handle on this.
I know. So I'm squatting over the bed going, come on, find it. And he's feeling around. This is not so great. He's feeling around. I'm like, okay, this is hurting a little bit. And he goes, I don't know. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? I mean, it couldn't have gone in my cervix. Where did we put the thing? So finally, he's like, finds this little, it's been hooked back up under my cervix. Apparently just really, it didn't just fall off.
Sort of.
It got pounded.
Got stuffed between the cervix and the right hip socket.
Or something, yeah. And the skin had, relaxed over, so it was like stuck.
Right.
Oh my God.
Partially engorged.
Right, whatever, right.
And all that stuff.
Yeah, so anyway, that's my
kind of like just gently try to get some traction and grab a hold of it and pull that out.
Yeah, that wasn't any fun.
Excellent.
It's like, okay, buddy, seriously, that was in there a while. That didn't just come off, It's like, okay. Yeah. So men, don't do that, okay?
Keep your unit on. Now, mind you, what kind of a condom was that?
Basic latex.
Was that a latex?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
because I know sometimes with the sheepskin condoms, because they don't have the elastic,
you have to tie them.
Yeah, you have to cinch those babies up, but the cords the cords are very short on those. And so there's not a lot to hold on to.
They need one of those little, what do they call those little clasps that you push in that are on all the REI bags and stuff like that?
Oh, the cinch bags.
A toggle.
Yeah. Cinch, toggle.
Yeah, they need a toggle on the sheepskin, little tiny toggle on the sheepskin condoms.
Yep, that would be great.
Nice.
How
about just make the strings longer?
You could tie them around.
I don't know, I could tie a knot.
Just shape the little knob on the toggle, call it like a rabbit or a dolphin or something like that.
That's right, you wear it on the top and it's supposed to rub the clitoris.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that could be an extra reason to buy sheepskin.
There you go. All right.
Nice.
So the question, somebody wrote in and was talking to me about, first of all, they were thankful for the radio show. Thank you very much, everybody that loves to listen to us. And they were thankful for the radio show and had learned a lot already. And his question was that his wife was only orgasmic in the female superior position, so she would only have orgasms while on top in sex. Sweet. And he did say, yeah, I know.
Oh, sorry. I gotta calm down. I gotta breathe.
He did say, in parentheses, obviously that's not a problem, right?
Okay, good. So he was appreciating.
He was appreciating that, but apparently wanted to know if there was some other things they could do.
Sure.
So, I guess, because, I had a friend who every time she had sex on top, she would orgasm. And she actually didn't like sex. And she was, which is kind of crazy, isn't it? But she didn't like sex, and she was really bothered by the fact that, she had to have an orgasm every time she was on top. I don't know. It's weird to me, but...
She did, or she had to for him?
No, that she did. She just was like, that's what happened. And
that she was having orgasms.
I know. It takes all kinds.
Wow.
That would be the question at the dinner table at the first date. Do you like sex? Are you annoyed by orgasm? What kind of a presumption is that?
Isn't that funny? So anyway, but I told him that 87% of women don't orgasm at all during intercourse.
Okay.
So already, I said congratulations.
So take a deep breath.
So that's cool that that's happening at all. And that basically, and I think it's hard for people to really understand this. Maybe it takes more of a geometry or mathematical mind, but the reason and he didn't say whether she was actually pleasuring her clitoris as well. So she might be, in which case, I know Joshua likes that.
Sorry, memories. I'm having memories.
In which case, then, you would think that could work in a different position as well. But here's what's going on. It's all about if a woman is actually able to have orgasm through intercourse, it's all about where the vajra is hitting inside.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had a couple come up to me and say, I used to be able to orgasm all the time through intercourse, and then all of a sudden we can't do it anymore. I mean, all of a sudden one day it just stopped.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Lassie,
and
go
it's
find
been
it.
like, yeah, exactly. Lassie is Timmy in the well, but Timmy was not in the well. But what happened is that, just one day. And so I was like, wow, that's really curious. Anything emotional? Oh, no. And they looked like they were in love and everything. So I decided to sleuth that one because it had been like 3 months since that had happened. So I'm thinking about this and I'm thinking about this and I go, did you get a new bed? I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh.
We got a new bed and gave our old bed to our son. And I'm like, go have sex in your old bed and call me. And they called up and we're happy to report that, yes, the orgasm was back. That shift in the firmness of the mattress.
They switched from an inner spring to one of the foam mattresses.
I have no idea. I didn't ask
I
him what kind, but
you know what?
Yeah.
I made a shift like that, and it made the world of difference. My workout doubled. I was doing some serious Pilates on a foam mattress.
See, and people, we don't talk about these things usually is when
That's
people think
key.
about beds.
The amount that my knees sunk into an inner spring mattress. The solution? Pillows.
The floor.
Pillows, baby.
Pillows.
Floor.
Yep.
Floor.
Well, if you need to move your lover's hips up, whether she's on her back or face down.
Yep.
If she's on the bottom, a pillow underneath changes that angle, and wow.
People don't use pillows enough, really. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you just think, wow. So then people ask me, like, they go on vacation and they have great sex. I was like, and I'm saying, what's the bed like? Because notoriously, hotel beds are a lot harder than your bed at home.
They're thinking because it's all romantic.
No, it was the bed. The bed
Nice.
changed the angle and all of that. So, yeah, and there is a difference between, when you're inside a yoni, there's different, everybody knows about the G spot and so there's all these spots, okay? The A, the U, the whatever. We'll create our own Tantra team Tantra spot.
The T spot.
Some of the T spot, But all those spots, the bottom line is, it's what spot is working or what quadrant is working. As far as the pearl on the outside, there are more nerve endings right to the left, her left. So, my pearl, my left.
We call that, yeah.
Right. So on a clock, if you were looking at me, that would be 1 o'clock.
We call that river left if you're rafting.
Right.
It's the direction that she's facing downstream.
Excellent. And so there's a little more nerve endings on that side. And for some women, just finding that, because usually they're right-handed and they're touching themselves with their right hand, but they're never going over to the left.
Is that why that happens?
That can happen. Or the manzo is laying on the right side.
So it's not an anatomical thing from nature. It's just because the right side
No. There
gets
is more
used.
nerve endings.
Okay, there is more nerve endings.
But the problem
on
is most people are doing things from the right.
Ooh.
So
it's a darn good thing I approach from my right.
There you go. So there's different things to think about. So internally, because it's always about Joshua, internally.
Sorry, I'm not like this all the time. I swear.
Yeah, he is. But he has really good hands. So, he's a massage therapist and that works.
Thanks for that endorsement.
Yeah.
Will I get some calls now?
I don't know. Somebody call him, please. And anyway, so you need to approach this a little bit like a science project. And we're actually creating a product right now, soon, called erotic mapping.
Mm-hmm.
And erotic mapping is one of those tantric rituals or ritual that you can do to actually help identify where those great spots are. Because people don't really do that. I mean, for women, I know for myself, I'm pretty aware, I'm pretty sensitive, but I can't always tell what he's doing. It's like, okay, that feels good, but I don't know. Is that 1 finger, 2 fingers? It's hard to know. So I know we had this conversation with Joshua on the radio where I'm saying, is it cool to ask your ex?
What
was that
ex?
move that
what
you did that was so cool? Can you? Yeah, that. And I did. I did.
How you ask is important, because if you're in the moment and you say, "What are you doing?"
That's okay.
But you have to just tone and timbre, like, "Ooh, what are you doing?"
Okay.
Or, tell me about that.
Right. And you should do that, because you should be aware of what things work for you. I did go back to my ex-lover and I did say, this is maybe a little awkward. I don't know. But, there's this thing you did that I really like. Can you tell me what you were doing? Because I'd like to take that with me. Anyway, yeah, he was pretty generous about that. And
That's nice.
Did tell me.
And you never know when a relationship might become an ex-relationship. So if you're in a relationship and you love what someone's doing,
better find out now.
Just out of, tell me what you're doing. I want to know.
You should know that anyway. I mean, and so erotic mapping is a certain way of going about that. And we'll put out, I think, we're putting out a video on that.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Right?
Video, audio. It's going to be well produced.
Yeah, a video, audio of actual real, real time erotic mapping situation happening.
Excellent.
So that product will be out, and it's just a really, really important thing to do, because I think a lot of the time women are really confused about what's happening and what feels good, and so it's really difficult for them to provide feedback to the current lover or lovers coming up. I mean, all women that I've talked to will always remember this one particular man or one, and they'll go, oh, yeah. And then there was, and he did, oh, man. Yeah.
And then how do they explain to their new man or present man?
They can't even explain to their girlfriends.
I would love it if you could. Is that why they introduce their girlfriends sometimes to that guy? You got to try this guy out.
Yeah, well, I do have a client who yes, his girlfriend brought no less than, I think, 5 different women because he's so amazing. She actually had to
share.
She couldn't tell them how great it was. She had to have them come and find out.
Wow. Well, she wasn't fully cognizant at the moment it was happening.
No, she thought he was so amazing.
No, I know that. But
and
what I'm saying is
she was telling them he's amazing, but he's so amazing, you have to come and see it.
That's a sharing attitude.
That's pretty hot.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine how amazing this guy is. That his girlfriend's lining up her girlfriends to come over and check it out.
Okay, honey.
Yeah, I know. This poor guy. It's like
because she's a friend of yours.
Yeah.
And I love you.
And you like that, and of course I throw that out there now. Everybody's going, wait a minute, and I do have a coaching program for that.
Do I get to be a coach on some of that?
What? You're going to coach other men how to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Good job.
There we go.
I'm willing to share because there's only one of me and there are a lot of women.
That's right. And what is your mission in life?
My mission in life.
Personally impact 1 million women in pleasure?
To start is to have my name and somehow involved in the exquisite pleasure of 1 million women. And people usually look at me and go, how busy are you going to be and how many condoms do you have? No. I want men to have the information and the desire and the ability to please their women.
Right.
I've been told by some women, oh my God, your hands. And I'm like, you mean other guys haven't done or made you feel with their hands? And they just say, not even close. I'm like, what's so special about what I'm doing? I can't even tell you, just keep doing it.
So you have to package that. You have to be able to actually put that into words, what is actually going on.
Right.
So, okay, I'm listening. You were talking about my email. My wife does not pleasure herself. In fact, she feels she can't get aroused that way. And we do start out with me on top, and then she feels aroused enough, close to climax, she shifts to the female superior position. So, like we were saying with that.
I love listeners.
I know, like we were saying with that. There is nothing, obviously, neither one of these people think there's anything wrong with this. But what they're saying is, can we learn to do it a different way? Well, yes, and that's what I was talking about with the erotic mapping and learning where exactly is she being touched inside by his vajra and how to recreate that experience. Now, a lot of people I don't know if they're just not creative or what it is, but, missionary position, they'll usually position themselves in one place. The man doesn't know how to rise up higher or get down lower or turn to the sideways or whatever. But, frequently it's not just straight in and out. Frequently there's a side position to be attained. If the guy has a curve, to one way, then he should take that advantage of it. So there's different positions that you can get in. And, yes, talk about the mattress.
Right.
And, yes, talk about the surface you're on. I know that as a woman, if I, we had this conversation where for some reason there's only 16% of men out there that are over 8 inches or over 7.5.
Right.
And I've had all that 16%, I feel
right.
Like.
Most of your lovers have been in that 16%.
Right, exactly. And that doesn't work for me very well.
And guys, you don't want to necessarily be.
No, you don't. That doesn't work for me at all.
Be huge, and that's not necessarily.
Right. So hard surfaces were not my friends.
Right.
Because hard surfaces will, of course, make you penetrate further than something that has give in it. Mm-hmm. So you got to contemplate these things, So if you really want to feel depth as a woman and you're not getting that on your mattress, go to the floor. Because the floor is hard, and that means there's no give. You feel, as far as penetration, a lot more. Mm-hmm. Now, that's good or bad, depending on what you want. So, finding out where inside she's actually being stimulated and then recreating that in a different position is what this is all about.
Mm-hmm. Exploring and experimenting, too, to find that. I mean, once you got an idea, maybe through some of that erotic mapping, which, yes, there's a good reason to have a product to help people and coach people through the actual dialogue, give somebody an idea of what the heck are we talking about here and how do we talk about this as a couple. But then once you've got that, then you get to explore. And to me, this kind of sounds fun. It's like, well, we may not get it perfect the first time, but what's wrong with trying?
Exactly. Doing more of it, right?
Right.
And keep going with that. So let's think about pillows. Let's think about the surface of the mattress you are. Think about the different places. And, a little bit more dialogue. People are afraid to lose the mood. They're afraid that in the middle of something, if all of a sudden something's really great, to say, wow, that's amazing. What are you doing?
So long as you don't ask me about next week's schedule, I'm pretty good with most questions.
Right, exactly.
What color is the paint on the ceiling? Or is there...
Right.
So tomorrow, are you going to mow the lawn?
Yeah.
That would break the mood. But if the question and the dialogue is about the experience that you're having, then it's great to ebb and flow.
And here's the deal. It's okay if the man loses his erection. Somewhere in the middle of all this, when you're doing something, people, we got to let go and be okay with that, because then he can do something else. You can do something else. Then you can come back around to it. If the fear is that the mood, that arousal, has been broken and nothing will ever be okay again, you're living in fear. And while you're living in fear, you're not going to experiment. You're not going to have as much fun. You're not going to try different things because you're worried that something's going to go wrong and that arousal isn't going to happen.
Right.
So we've got to let go of that. The other question I had here was about premature ejaculation, which I get that question a lot. We all know that I don't actually believe in premature ejaculation because I believe you ejaculate when you ejaculate. There's nothing premature about it. However...
Premature would be like if I ejaculated before myself?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, you come when you come, and that's all there is to it. If you're interested in finding out how to become an ejaculation and, be a master lover, become a sexual master in lovemaking, then you need to get some control over your ejaculation. It's not really... So then there's ejaculation management, which is what most men do that have a handle on some of it, and that's different than ejaculation mastery. Ejaculation management is where men have learned how to stop or change positions or go do something else and then come back to it. So they're managing their arousal level. Ejaculation mastery is where you can go to the highest excitement right before you climax and ride that excitement for 20 or 30 minutes. That's a big difference.
Right.
That's pretty clear.
And bring the intensity up. Yeah, I mean, I'm still working on getting to that place where I can stay in that high.
Right.
Or high sensation.
Most men
arousal,
go to that space,
orgasm.
and then stop, rest,
they have to breathe it down,
do something else.
Down, right.
And when you do that, then of course the woman's arousal goes back down, because the woman's arousal is very much peaked into yours. Every woman I ask, just about hands down, the moment that the man starts to climax, ejaculate, we don't feel anything anymore. It's like our arousal goes from 80 or 100 to minus 20. Boom, just like that. So the ability to live in that high arousal space, or to make love in that high arousal space, is what really ejaculation mastery is. Ejaculation management is being able to stay on top of your arousal, don't get carried away. And then in the beginning stages of learning to control any of that is body awareness. And I have an ebook on, you've been lied to about premature ejaculation on my website under products. Excuse me. And that ebook is the first stages of learning ejaculation mastery. So for any man out there that's wondering, how can I last longer? How can I do all that? That's where you want to start, is that ebook. And we'll be having more. We'll have ejaculation management and mastery ebooks coming out as well.
Well, I'm wondering. I mean, I read the premature ejaculation ebook, and I got a lot out of it. And I don't really consider myself premature by any way, shape, or form, mostly because I'm not actually worried about it. And when I read the book, I'm like, wow, this is something that I need to know. This is something that I might not be ordinarily attracted to reading this book.
Right.
Because then I think it categorizes me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I read the book realizing, wow, this is the first step towards walking the steps toward 20, 30 minutes at 9.8 peak arousal, body orgasms, no ejaculation. The woman's right there with you.
Great perspective on that, Max, because the beginning of ejaculation mastery are all the principles that we talk about in the premature ejaculation ebook.
Right.
So that reframe is priceless. It's gold.
Well, I thought it was huge.
Right. So maybe what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to, have that repackaged a little bit too, give it another title as well, because it is the first step, and it should be, you've been lied to about premature ejaculation, and somewhere in there this is the first step to ejaculation mastery. So that kind of answers those questions for this gentleman. We, Max and I, are headed out. Joshua's going to be running the rest of the show. And Joshua, are you ready for that?
I am ready to roll.
You're going to have a great time with that.
I've got a couple different topics.
That graph paper there. And he's got some topics. You guys help him out. Be kind. I'll be back. I'll be back with you next week. And next week we've got an interesting guest. She's actually doing this bioacoustics. You're going to go, what does this have to do with Tantra? Anyway.
Do I get to sing into a yoni? What is this about?
No, it's super cool. I was just reading about her, and I'm very excited to be talking to her next week. And, anyway, it's cool. It was fun. Billy, you're going to take care of Joshua. Excellent. And
do I get to see if there's any questions on your Facebook? Do I get to play?
Yeah, just make sure you check out of it later.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would love somebody to call.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You guys have
bye-bye. Great job.
Am I allowed to ask what you guys are up to? Or is that private?
Teacher-parent conference.
Oh, right. Excellent.
And Billy's going to take a break, or Billy's not taking a break. We're taking a break. And Joshua will be back. Bye-bye, everybody.
Are you one of the 40 million sexless couples in the U.S.? Are you wondering why having sex leaves you feeling lonely? Are you suffering from the myths of sexual dysfunction? Do you know in your heart that there has to be more than what you're currently getting out of making love? To rid yourself of sexual ignorance, get more out of your lovemaking, and find out more about spiritual sexual connection, then you need to check out www.thetantrateacher.com to receive your free copy of the ebook called Secrets of the Tantra Teacher. Don't suffer another minute without the sexual loving and ecstatic bliss you were born to receive. Get to www.thetantrateacher.com right now. That's www.thetantrateacher.com.
Did you know that you can rate this show on iTunes? The show you're listening to right now. It's true. You can leave your thoughts about the show, the topic, the guest. You can even leave a suggestion. Then, before you leave, rate the show. The hosts love hearing from you, so next time you download this show from iTunes, leave your thoughts and rate the show, for the host and for others.
Is your sex life non-existent? Do sexual dysfunctions leave you soft? Is internet porn getting more than you are? Or are you paying more attention to porn than your partner? Have you tried talk therapy and it got you nowhere? You are not alone. You can be freed from sexual shame, guilt, and dissatisfaction. A visit to the Tantra Teacher is in order. Call now and mention you heard the Tantra Teacher on the radio and get a very special offer. Stop waiting for a miracle and call right now. 206-276-2735. Phone consultations or in person will get you the information you need to be successful in your love life. But you have to call now. 206-276-2735. Stop making excuses. Call the Tantra Teacher. 206-276-2735.
Joshua here, taking the helm of Tantra, love, intimacy, and relationship. And on the listener that had put in that question about that his beloved was only having orgasm while she was on the top position, what I found with pillows, different types of beds, just the critical nature of finding solutions, I'd be curious, have you tried, whether she's on her back or on her stomach, putting a pillow under her hips, changing the angle? I know that some of the adult stores and websites have different products, wedges and such, to change the position. One of my past lovers was really adept at moving her hips, and just the memories. What I found was she could move her hips in a way that would move me inside of her to touch exactly where she wanted me to touch. And so between the two of you, again, with using the information with erotic mapping to find, okay, when you're in this position, what does that feel like? When I move my hips like this, what does it feel like? The height, how high her hips are off the bed versus your hips, lots to play with. And then also, if you're on top of her, another interesting perspective is if her legs are together and your legs are around hers, that's a whole nother experience that you might have to call me personally about. So, what else do we have today to share? Tanya talked about how much my mission to educate, to let the world know, what is it that I'm doing? Do I consider myself a profoundly gifted lover? I don't really. And I think the key thing is my intense curiosity, compassion, interest in what my lover is experiencing, and I love to touch. Now, there's two sides to that. Being attentive, I think most of our listeners are attentive. They're interested, they're caring and compassionate. One of the things I've learned as I've been exploring Tantra is shifting my focus, not just, I love touching my lover, but really feeling what my hands are feeling, letting the sensation, not just running my hands over my lover's body because I want to caress her and I want her to feel good, but what does it feel like to me to run my hands up her body, to put my hand on the small of her back? When I really start to pay attention to that, oh my, the waves of what I was experiencing just from touching the small of her back drove me nuts. It was amazing and beautiful. And she was looking at me like, are you okay? I'm like, I am so loving this. So in emphasizing, how do I go from being a lover, a good lover, to a tantric lover, really embracing what it feels like. And again, that lover, when we're touching and exploring, there were times where in our role playing, I wouldn't let her touch me. I would say, you have to keep your hands at your sides, or using other tools to help maintain that. And she would pout. She'd put on the pout face because she was experiencing how much she enjoyed touching. That kinesthetic, tactile was so important to her in the experience. So to bring the arousal and the excitement up, get a little selfish in your touch. Touch your lover in a way that makes your body, that makes your sensations just light up. Go for it. I want to hear about that. So, what else? What else? In the process of coaching and talking to people, I've always been like this. Tanya's right. I'm always like this, and I've always been like this. I can remember in high school, I was the guy that I was usually the designated driver at a party, driving people home. And of course, someone would say, Josh, can you drive so-and-so home? Only if she's prepared to talk about sex. Now, that didn't mean that I wanted to do anything to her. Well, I might have wanted to, but didn't mean that I was going to. I was also a safe male, not just a sober male. And that was my thing. I wanted to talk about what your thoughts were, what your experiences are if you're willing to go there, what's working and what's not working, because I was always curious. And as I'm as I'm looking to share, whether I'm going to be writing a book or an ebook, of what is it that I really do with my hands or with my energy. I've actually had some people say, if you'll teach us what you're going to do, that would be great. People want me to do some coaching, and I'm excited about that prospect, though there's a part of me that's a little bit self-conscious, that I don't want to come from the perspective of presuming that you don't know what you're doing or that you don't know how to touch. So getting over that, I'm really excited to help people come together in a deeper way in their intimacy. And as always, one of the key things that we like to share with people is breathing, breathing, breathing. I've had some of my friends say to me, Josh, what are you doing? You have some, great funky techniques. Well, what do we need to know? I've heard you talk about this ejaculation mastery. What's up with that? And the response is breathing. If you can keep your body fed with oxygen, keep your brain fed with oxygen, they say that the most powerful erogenous zone is our brain. That if the brain is stimulated, then everything else is stimulated. So we've talked about talking into your lover's ear. Men, how much do you love hearing the sounds that your lover is making? Women, have you ever had your man talk into your ear and tell you things, whether they're, nice and lovey or a little bit edgy? What does it do? What happens when you're stimulating the brain? So, we say breathe. Breathe everywhere you go, because when you're breathing, the brain is active and alive, and everything that you experience is more intense. It's almost like when you're aroused, genitally aroused, everything's more exciting and more captivating and thrilling. Of course, that's why you're doing that. When you're breathing, the brain is aroused. The brain is active, and it's going to feel everything more intensely. I think some people, part of why people taking drugs or alcohol are looking for a shift in focus, a shift in experience. It's intoxicating. It creates a sense of euphoria. And what I can tell you from personal experience, as well as a lot of literature out there talks about tantric literature, breathing oxygen is as much of an intoxicant as anything else out there, and you have complete control of how it takes you, where it takes you. And if you're driving while breathing, you don't get in trouble. So there are a series of breathing techniques that you can find at our website, www.learningtantra.com. And where do you practice this? People say, where do I practice it? Well, everywhere. And some of my friends and people I talk with, I say, everywhere you go, I want you to breathe. I want you to pause and think about how you're breathing. Am I breathing shallow or deep? And then I want you to take a deep breath, all the way fill your abdomen and feel the breath and hold it until you actually feel your hips or your pelvic floor relax. And then let the breath out. When you let it all the way out, sometimes actually squeeze your midsection, tighten your abdominal muscles, and really breathe all of that air out, and then breathe back in. You'll feel a flush or a wave of tingling or lightness. You'll feel more awake. You feel more alive. And the more you do that outside of the bedroom, outside of the intimate encounter, the more you'll be prepared when you get to the bedroom, when you get with your lover, to do that breathing. And if you're both doing that breathing, and if you're both feeling that exquisite intoxication, that adding breath with intimacy, write me and tell me about the results. I want to hear about it. So Billy is giving me the heads up that we are getting near the end. I would love to answer any questions anybody has from what I've spouted off today. I'm excited about my weekend. I'm excited about the book that's in process. It's been written, it's in editing, and it's getting close to publish. We do have products on our website. And again, if anything that we've shared with you today has stimulated you to want to know more or helped you in any way, I want to know. Let me know what's working. Let me know how I can help you more. Thank you, and have a great